Good evening, and welcome to the Writer's Block. I'm your host, John Ronan, and as you certainly know by now, because we're kicking off our 27th year, I interview writers about their craft, what they're working on now, what they've accomplished in the past, what they might have planned for the future. We cast a pretty wide net as well. It's not just writers. We have other artists on. We've had playwrights. Well, I guess playwrights are writers too. We've had sculptors, we have actors, musicians. So if you have an idea for an artist, whether a writer or not, who might be good for the Writer's Block, watch for our address at the end of the show. We'd be glad to get your suggestions. I also want to remind you that the Writer's Block and the many other productions that come out of Cape Ann TV are a result of Cape Ann Cable Television. It's a wonderful community service, and it doesn't get available to anybody if you switch to Dish. So beware of those ads on television. We're kicking off the 27th season, as we did last year, with the student poet winners of the Poetry Without Paper contest run by the Lyceum at Sawyer Free Library. We have with us tonight the elementary winners, the middle school winners, and the single, in this case this year, the single high school winner. And we're going to talk to all of them. I also want to pass this information on. We have a live audience today, the families of the student winners, and I want them to all give these students a big hand of applause. Good, thank you. We're going to start with the student winners at the elementary level. They are Elijah Saruf, third place winner, Seamus Buckley, second place, and Sean Bergen, first place. And I'm going to begin with Elijah.
Read my poem?
Not yet. I want to ask you, as I did before the show, where you were going to school when you started this poem.
I went to East Gloucester Elementary School.
And did you have good teachers there?
Yes, very good
teachers. Good. Who was your favorite? Can you name a couple favorite teachers?
I don't know if I should do that. Just in case they're watching.
Well, if they're watching, they would like to hear that, wouldn't they?
But what if the people who I didn't list were watching?
Were they all wonderful?
Yes, they were all very good.
Every teacher at
Yes.
East Gloucester was.
Yes.
Where do you go to school now?
I go to O'Malley now. I moved up.
Okay. Tell me, if you can, was there a teacher who inspired you to write the poems that you entered in the contest?
Yeah, Mrs. Davis. She was my third grade teacher.
Your third grade? And she inspired you to write and send in the work?
Well, kind of. She gave me the idea to start kind of making poems like this one.
Let's hear it from Miss Davis, okay? I think teachers deserve a lot of credit. Now, I asked you before the show what TV shows you watched, and you told me...
I don't have a TV.
So it's difficult to watch, then?
Well, I mean, I watch on Netflix.
Ah. Do you watch my show on that?
Is it on Netflix?
Well, no, but you can get it on the Cape Ann TV website.
I'll try that.
Okay.
I did not know it was a website.
Okay. What poem did you enter and win with, Elijah?
It's called The Burning Log.
Okay, would you read that for us?
Yes. The burning log goes and goes. It burns and blackens as the fire grows. The ashes fly above the flame. The burning log now starts to crumble. It crackles, pops, and mumbles. It will burn like the ones before that came. The burning log turns to dust, just like the next one must. The next one, too, will live up to its name, the burning log.
Very good, thank you. Did you write that right off the bat, watching a burning log?
No. I was just kind of thinking of ideas, and I'm like, fire, and then I'm like, oh, a burning log. Okay,
good.
And I just started writing.
From your imagination or your memory?
Yes.
Good. That's poetic license. You don't have to be there, right?
Yeah.
This is what's going on. Thank you. Our next winner, Seamus Buckley. And I think you were at East Gloucester School last year as well.
Yes, I was.
Do you have any favorite teachers you'd like to mention?
Yeah, my 4th grade teacher, Miss Flaherty.
Miss Flaherty?
Yeah.
Let's hear it from Miss Flaherty. Did she get you to start writing poetry
Yeah.
and to enter the contest?
Yeah.
Oh, good, good. I like to hear that about teachers teaching writing. Tell me about your television or movie habits or Netflix habits. Do you,
I watch a lot of shows like I watch American Ninja Warrior and America's Got Talent, and I watch Survivor. So a lot of, yeah.
so-called reality TV?
Yeah.
So-called. What are you reading? I should ask you about books first.
I like fantasy, so like Harry Potter and Percy Jackson.
Have you read all the Harry Potters?
Yeah.
And I should have asked you, Elijah, what are you reading?
Well, I'm in this really awesome series called Wings of Fire, and they just keep coming out with books. I can't wait till the 27th. They come
The
out
next
with
one?
the new one, yeah.
Good, good. And do you watch Netflix? Get things pulled in? things
No,
down
we
on
don't.
Netflix?
We don't have Netflix.
You don't subscribe to Netflix?
No.
Seen any good movies lately?
Yeah. I don't really remember any.
Anyone? Okay, I saw a terrible movie last night, The Avengers.
Oh.
1998 takeoff on an old TV series. I don't recommend it. Tell me what your poem is
It's called Nothing.
called.
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay, would you read that for us?
Yeah. Nothing is an opportunity, a colossal space for things to happen, for ideas to grow. Nothing is a seed that sprouts into a blooming peach tree. Nothing is a chance to do something new. Nothing is a blank paper that turns into a world-famous essay. There's never nothing to do. There's always room for something new. Nothing has no limits. Nothing is a day when you have nothing to do and you build an amazing fort with your time. Nothing is something. Nothing is a chance. Nothing is everything.
Very good, thank you. Where did you get the idea for that?
I was sitting in bed and I couldn't think of anything to write about, so I just decided to write
And there
about
it was.
nothing.
There it was. Okay, very good, clever. Okay, we're going to talk now to Sean Bergen, first place winner in the contest. And I bet I know where you went to school last year.
You guessed it. It's East Gloucester.
East Gloucester School. Now you're at O'Malley.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite teacher that you really liked over in East Gloucester?
I don't want to say like for Elijah's reason.
Well, you guys are
Just in
good
case.
politicians. Wow. Okay.
I hope I don't get into that when I grow up. I don't want to be a politician.
Okay, I don't blame you. But you're very discreet, very, very polite. Who asked you to write poetry or inspired you to write poetry?
Well, I've always liked to write, and my parents have always cared about me and like wanted me to do my work, and that's one of the reasons I wrote poetry. Another one was just I liked it, and I wanted to think of something which was hard.
So you think your family more than teachers?
More than teachers, yes.
Let's hear it for your family and teachers, okay? Now, what are you reading?
I read different types. I read many types of books. I read sci-fi. I read fantasy.
You a Harry Potter fan?
Yeah, I've read most of the series.
Are the books better than the movies, or the movies better than the books?
The books are better than the movies because they make more
Good.
sense.
I've heard that. And what television, if any, do you watch?
I watch usually like maybe prank shows and stuff. Maybe like magic pranks or just and a lot of movies.
You catch the writer's block when you get a chance?
I never really, it doesn't come on demand. Like I search it, but
Very smooth, very smooth, very smooth. It's on the website, though, you can see. Now tell us what your poem is. And
my poems About nothing.
About what?
Nothing.
A lot of that going around.
Yeah, just nothing.
Okay, shoot.
It's called A Mysterious Wonder, and it's by me. And this is it, I guess. I don't exist, but I'm always here. Brave people fear me when I am near. The poor own me, the rich have known me, and if you eat me, you die. I feel it's empty, yet I have no mass. I am more fragile than any glass. To most I'm an opportunity, a blank slate that carries a flamboyant fate. I'm a secret that cannot be broken. I am nothing.
Thank you very much. I want to thank all three of you for sharing your poems and sharing some of the background that got you inspired to write, and hope that you continue. Maybe we'll see you back here again next year.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
Thank you very much again. Would you unmic yourselves, and I'm going to ask, while you are finding your seats, that Willa, Tessa, and Mila come up and take your places. Okay, would you put your mic on and put it up there on the top of your collar someplace? And they checked them already, so I assume they're going to be fine. Okay, good. Now, straighten me out now. Mila.
Mm-hmm.
Willa. Tessa. Willa Brosnahan, Tessa Bushfield, and Mila Berry. I'm going to begin with Willa Brosnahan and ask you a couple of questions. You know the kind of questions because you've been watching. Where did you go to school last year when you entered the contest?
I was in O'Malley.
And do you have a favorite teacher over there that you feel that you can mention?
I don't know. My favorite teachers last year were probably Mr. Zirk and Miss Danaher.
Miss Danaher and who's?
Mr. Zirk.
Zirk, and let's hear it. We've often heard Miss Danaher's name mentioned here in different shows. Now, can you confess to watching any television? And what do you watch?
I watched Doctor Who.
Doctor Who?
Uh-huh.
Wow, that's quite a confession. Do you know all of the people who played Doctor Who through all the
No,
decades?
Just the new one.
So you're a fan, but you're not over the top fan.
No.
What do you read, Willa?
I read a lot of different things. I've been reading historical fiction lately.
What kind of fiction?
Historical fiction, like Willa Cather.
Ah, Willa Cather.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going back a ways. That's good.
Thank
Do you
you.
read fantasy, Harry
Sometimes, yeah.
Potter? Tell us the name of your poem, and if another teacher, besides the teachers you mentioned, inspired you to write that.
It's called Raindrops Lament.
And did somebody else, besides the two teachers you mentioned, get you to write poetry, get you interested?
I can't really accredit it to one teacher in particular. Most of the teachers that I've had have stressed writing as important, so just like all through elementary school and the beginning of middle school, it was.
Good. Okay, would you read your poem for us, please?
Raindrops Lament. An impermeable drear hangs about the world. Foggy sky is wet cement, heavy, dripping. Darkness projects a web, fractured shadows through droplets, undeterred. Quietly piercing watery shells, poisoning within. The rain is empty. Empty raindrops on empty houses, battering the windows, the doors, the walls. It is futile. Screaming to no one, their pitter-patter voices pleading, let us in. Screeching winds, the tempest escalates, aches with its own gusts, grief in stormy multitudes. The feverish sky wails as basements flood with cold tears. In darkness and cold they sob, lonely, let us in. Empty people beneath umbrellas through the sheets of rain. They look to weeping heavens, through the murk, the clouds, obscure shapes drifting, into blue sky. They do not listen to the rain. They do not hear the screams.
Thank you very, very much. Let's hear it. Tell us about the occasion that's sponsored, or not sponsored, but that inspired you to write that poem?
Well, actually, it started as an assignment by Miss Danaher. We were supposed to write something in prose and then change it into poetry. I kind of did it wrong. I wrote the poem first, and then I had to translate it back, and then translate it back into poetry.
Well, that's an interesting exercise. I hadn't heard that. You write in prose, at least your first assignment, to write in prose and then move it to poetry.
Yeah, but I wrote it in poetry first, which I wasn't supposed to do, kind of by accident, and then I had to put it back, and then back into poetry.
Did you learn a lot through that process, going back and forth?
Sort of.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Now we are going to talk to Tessa Bushfield and ask her where she went to school last year when you composed this poem.
I was also at O'Malley.
And what kind of, I know you had great teachers, but do you have other teachers to mention too?
Same as Willa, Mr. Zirk and Miss Danaher.
Okay, let's hear it again for them. What happened, or who happened to ask you to write this poem? Did one of the teachers?
Miss Danaher said it was like a graded assignment. We had to put 2 of them in. We had to submit 2 poems, and I only had 1, and so I kind of freaked out and wrote this one, and then...
This is the second one?
Yeah.
And that you did under pressure, and that's the one that won. Well, good for you. Let me ask you, besides the teachers, about the typical questions. What do you read?
I read a lot of stuff, but right now I'm reading a biography of Alexander Hamilton because I'm a wee bit obsessed with the play.
Have you seen it?
No, I really want to, though.
Is it available on any kind of recordings, or
Not
can
yet.
you see live performances up here, like at Shea Lin, or
Not yet.
no? Well, I hope you get to see it soon. The tickets are only about $5,000 each, I think, right? Yeah. And what do you watch on television, or what do you download?
I watch Sherlock and like Once Upon a Time.
Sherlock, is that with Cumberbatch? You like him?
Yeah.
Is that going to come back? It hasn't been on for
Um,
9 months or
They're
so.
filming season 4 right now.
They are. Do you watch the other Sherlock Holmes takeoffs, like Elementary or
No.
the old ones? No? But you like Cumberbatch? Oh, big smile. Tell us what your poem is, and would you read it for us, please?
My poem is called Kinua the Quiet Lion, and it was based off of fan mail I got after being in the play.
Oh, good. Hold that here. Let me, oh, no, they've got that on camera. Go ahead. Hold that up for a minute. We'll zoom in. And where did that come from?
It was fan mail from one of the little girls who goes to my church. Whoops. Because I was Simba in The Lion King, and she drew this.
Very good. So you're interested in theater from different approaches, not just Hamilton. Good. Very nice. Thank you for sharing that.
Should I read it now?
Yes, please.
There's a little picture that's hanging on my wall, a small and crayon-colored lion that cannot roar at all. He has a mane, 2 feet, a tail, 2 eyes that are black and round, but somehow, someway, anyhow, he cannot make a sound. For this little hand-drawn lion, given by a fan, this little hand-drawn lion was colored with a crayon. His name is Kinua, for he shall lack forevermore the ability to sing a song to open his Kinua and roar. There's this little picture hanging on my wall, a small and hand-drawn lion that has no mouth at all.
Very nice. Thank you. That moves right along. Mila Berry, first place, middle school. Tell me what your poem is and who asked you to write it, who inspired you to write it.
My poem is Spoken Like Words on the Wind, and Miss Danaher asked me to write it last year for our poetry unit as well.
Miss Danaher, we got to make sure she watches the show, huh? Tell me, you went to O'Malley, of course, because you mentioned Miss Danaher. Tell me what you read or are
I
planning
really
to read.
like fantasy books. This summer I read a really good series called The Inheritance Cycle, which Tessa
The
actually...
what cycle?
The Inheritance Cycle, which Tessa actually recommended to me. She's been telling me to read it
The Inheritance Cycle.
for a long time now.
What's it about? Really, generally.
It's kind of complicated, but it's about this boy named Aragon who finds a dragon egg in the woods,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it hatches for him, and it hasn't hatched for anyone in like hundreds and hundreds of years, and it's
Okay.
like his adventure with his dragon.
What do you watch, if you watch anything on television?
I like comedy a lot, so like shows like Portlandia kind of, and then sometimes I'll watch like Disney with my little sister.
You don't watch Disney for yourself, just for your sister.
No, for
Do you
myself.
you like Disney? Oh, I thought you were just trying to use your sister there to watch that Disney. I like Disney. I hate to confess that. Tell us about the poem, and then would you read the poem for us?
All right, so kind of just wrote it because Miss Stanher said that we had to write a lyric poem, and I was like, I better make it good because it was the first poem that she was going to read from me. And that's pretty much it. I just wrote it on the spot.
So just banged it out, and it won. Okay, great. Share that with us.
All right, spoken like words on the wind. Hush, hush, can you hear it? Rushing rapid through the reeds, singing softly as it weaves. Can you? Can you? Shh, let the silence whisper as it calms the violence. Let the quiet come. Can you hear it? Can you? Can you? Please, listen. Grassy glades give way to sunlit days, which stretch on into forever. But only if you listen. Can you hear it? Can you? Will it come? Look, towards the moon. The darkness is like silence. It is slippery. It is natural. It will fill you with a peculiar emptiness, bleach you paper white, then allow you to be covered. In light and noise, are they one and the same? Can you hear it? Can you now? Feel it. Water trips over sandy stones, sitting cool on earthen bones, lucid as thoughts. Here it is, plain as day, riding on the song of a river. Can you hear it? Can you? The truth is an odd thing, because I know you can hear it. So please tell me. Tell me. What do you hear?
Very nice. Thank you, Neil. These are very fine poems. I want to tell you, frankly, I'm envious. You all say you just got to turn them out like that, and you win a contest, and oh, well, it's nothing. I really wish I could do that. Thanks very much for sharing, Willa, Tessa, and Mila. Now, if I could ask you to unmic yourself and yourselves and okay, thank you. And have a seat with your family, and I'm going to ask our last guest, Anya Marie Fulmer, to come up, please. Hi, Anya. Now, I don't have to ask who you are because you are the only high school winner. And, oh, yes, thank you. Do you have a copy?
I don't have a copy because our printer wasn't working, but I can read it off my phone.
Okay, good. Do you have it from the, you have your own copy, or do you have the library
No, I have
website?
a copy.
Okay.
It's on the library website?
Yeah, all your poems are on the library website, yeah.
Okay.
Tell me about your background, your high school background, where you go, and what teachers have kind of inspired you over your high school career?
Well, actually, this poem I wrote when I was in middle school, in 8th grade, or the summer after 8th grade. But my teacher all throughout elementary and middle school, I had one teacher. She told me to just start writing, so I did.
And you said you found that you liked
kind of
it?
came out of it, yeah.
Who was that teacher?
Her name was Mrs. McGon.
Manon?
McGon.
McGon.
Mrs.
Let's
McGon.
hear it for Miss McGon. I'm going to ask you these high-pressure questions about reading and watching television as well. What are you reading now, Anya?
Right now, I'm reading a book called He, She, and It by Marge Piercy.
Oh, poetry. Is that?
No, it's a novel.
It's a novel. She's a very famous American poet as well.
I didn't know that.
And is it good? Is she
Yeah,
good?
it's really good.
Yeah.
I've read it before.
Oh, it's not. That's not a young adult novel either, though, is it?
No, it's
regular,
adult.
Yeah, good. And besides the writer's block, what kind of TV do you watch?
Like one of them said before, I watch mostly kids' movies,
Give me an example.
like Disney or other animated stuff.
Disney is good.
Yeah.
Disney is good. Frozen? Were you a Frozen fan?
Probably my least favorite.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about it.
I couldn't get through it. But I can't tell that to people because they get mad at me.
Yeah,
You
I
didn't like
watched it with my mom, and she hated it.
Wow. Now you have your poem with you on
On here.
on the machine there.
Machine.
Tell us about the title and something about the background of your poem, and then read that for us, would you please?
Well, I don't really have background. I was just sitting at my kitchen table, and I just started thinking about it, and it just came into my head.
Another poem that went bang like that and won the contest. Well, I'm envious.
Yeah, it was a while before the contest, so it wasn't exactly like that. It's called Autumn.
Autumn.
It was called Fall for a while, and then I changed it.
That's an interesting choice. Why did you change it?
I just thought the name Autumn went better with the way the poem was worded.
It's more solemn.
Yeah, and I like it better.
Yeah.
Sounds
Okay.
nicer, even though I never say it.
Yeah, but it is a very serious word.
Yeah,
Much more serious word. Yeah.
it's nice.
Okay.
Okay, a battle is raging here. Chill gusts sweep fiery patterns up to freeze the soldiers so near. Beneath the high, unforgiving blue, golds and browns are taking this. A season comes anew. These weakened majesties tremble so, shudders and sway in the wind. Bow their mighty crown that low. Bow from summer into dark, crashing to the forest floor below. Red swirls to rest on fallen monarch.
Very nice. Thank you. I want to ask, what year are you now?
10th.
10th.
Yeah.
And are you starting to make college plans yet, or thinking about where you're going to
I'm trying not
apply?
to.
I mean, that's
a little
you
scary.
don't have to apply for about a year and a half, right?
Yeah.
So, but you're thinking about it?
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Some sort of liberal arts place.
Around here, or are you going to go to California?
I was looking at a bunch in Ohio, actually.
Ohio.
Yeah.
Good. Why'd you pick Ohio?
There's just a lot of nice schools there, and my best friend is looking at a college in Wisconsin. So,
Kenyon's there in Ohio,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yes.
That was one of
Good.
them.
Good. Thank you very much.
all right.
Now, I'd like you to just stay there because we
Okay.
don't have any switches to do, and I've got to close to that camera.
Okay.
I want to thank all of you out there in TV land and cable land for being with the Writer's Block on this kickoff program for the 27th year. This is my favorite show of the year. It's the most fun show of the year because we see some young writers, some young readers who are really talented and enthusiastic about literature and about writing, and that makes the show worthwhile. If you've learned something about those young talents and young poetry tonight on the Writer's Block, then we've done our job. Hope to see you again next week on the Writer's Block. Good night.